I used to think in my younger days what I might be doing when I was old, but I never imagined I'd be doing these. Why don't we go away? Why don't we just go to Normandy? And that's what we did. I think I could do something with the biotapestry. And that's what I did. A year in Normandy.
When visitors first enter the gallery, they encounter David's monumental frieze, A Year in Normandy, which has been reconfigured for our space here at Serpentine. His version of this monumental frieze that he made in 2020 after his move to Normandy in 2019.
Hockney did many works during that time, during the lockdown in Normandy. Of those, he combined 100 works into this very long painting, which is here more than 70 meters long and fills the North Gallery entirely.
And it starts with the winter season. So at first, visitors first see trees that don't have their leaves. And then as they move across the perimeter of the gallery, they witness the changing seasons. And he documented his surroundings for over the course of a year. We see the first kind of buds of spring. Then we see the full blossom of summer. And then we go into the autumn season of where there's very bright yellows and oranges. And then we once again conclude the year with the winter season where there was an early snowfall that David was able to capture.
We're in movement. The eye is always in movement. Otherwise, we're dead.
David has long been inspired by Chinese and Japanese scroll paintings, where there's this idea of continuous movement, of that the visitor is in motion and that you can't see everything from a frontal perspective. He's long challenged the Western ideas in art history of linear perspective.
This is really the ideal space to show this work. He doesn't want viewers to see the end or the beginning. He doesn't want the viewer to see the whole thing. It's always past pro toto. You only see fragments, and then you have to turn around the corner to see the next part, and you really have to walk the experience. So for him, this idea of walking in a similar way to Bayeux, where you have to walk along this very long work, it's a promenade. It's almost how he experiences also the landscape, how he experiences the outdoors.
And really, upon close looking, you see details and things that emerge that you didn't at first see that were there. So you'll see the presence of a car, or maybe a tree house, or a pond. So I think visitors will really be struck by the kind of complexity of these scenes. They requires many layers of looking. It's a celebration of landscapes.
I mean, I don't think they couldn't have done 220 oil paintings.
No.
No, they couldn't. Because each day you'd have had to clean the brushes and everything.
Yeah.
With an iPad,
Yeah.
there's no cleaning involved.
Exactly.
Nothing.
His initial endeavor was this digital technology in the 80s. It was too slow for him, but by the time he then in 2008-9 started to work a lot with it, it was possible to really work in a very fast way, something Monet and the Impressionists wanted to do but couldn't do because they didn't have the technology to do.
He's never shied away from experimenting with new tools. So he's been working with the iPad for over 10 years and has sort of praised its ability for him to kind of work so swiftly on it. And we see that in the case of A Year in Normandy, of how he was able to produce so many paintings.
Look at the person and feel their presence. That's what I do. And see it yourself, I think. That's what really good portraits are.
Inside the exhibition here at Serpentine, we have 5 new portraits, and they feature people that are closest to the artist, his inner circle. So whether that's Jack Ransom, the man who makes his eyeglasses, or his partner and longtime studio manager, JP, or his great-nephew, Richard, they're all united by the fact that the sitters are seated at a table that has a checkered tablecloth. So the setting for these tables also are a memory of his time in Normandy.
When you draw from life, you're drawing from memory. The memory of 5 seconds ago, the memory of 10 seconds ago, the memory of a minute ago. If you think about it, it must be like that, mustn't it? Memory.
In the 5 still life paintings we have, David is exploring this idea of abstraction and making reference to different abstract painting styles. David has long been a great connoisseur of art history and has made reference to other artists from Van Gogh to Fra Angelico. But with this body of work, he's looking at this idea of abstraction and is making reference to different painting styles and playing with this idea of perspective on the pictorial picture frame.
There's so much energy in the work. It's a very dynamic experience, which is what he wants. He wants us to look with both eyes. And that's really the motto of the exhibition. He used to have that at the entrance of the studio. There was always a piece of paper which says, look with both eyes. The idea is to put your phone away and look with both eyes.
David is an active art consumer, but also an advocate of the kind of celebrating the beauty and joy of everyday life, and encourages us to kind of spend time in their natural surroundings and take pleasure in the abundance of the beauty that exists around us.
You talk about memory and that painting is an old man's art. I thought that was also very fascinating.
Well, that's what the Chinese said.
Yeah, and you said that 45 years ago.
Painting is an old man's art. The young can't do it like the old can. Well, I'm beginning to see that now.
Yeah.
I'm still painting. The age of 88.
This idea of never stopping.
Yeah. Well, I won't stop till I fall over one day, I suppose. There's lots of stuff now, lots of stuff. I'm finding out more and more.